Well, hello there and welcome back to the Cozy Club, my friends. We've got yet another video geared towards both beginners and mid-game players alike, as we're going to be breaking down the best characters to farm at the beginning of the game and at the mid-game. Now, for those of you that have plenty experience playing DSA and you're towards the end game, this list might be a good kind of checkup to make sure that you've got the most vital characters for your roster. And definitely if you're towards the end of the game and playing the big time raids and some of the other later content, you want to make sure and ensure that these guys are geared up and ready to go on your roster. Now, as a whole, when you're starting off your DSA journey and you make your way up to around level 50, obviously going after legendaries is very important. Obviously, that's what you want to, work towards and have as an overall goal. However, individual plug-and-play characters are extremely important for their overall versatility that they bring throughout your experience within the game. A character that can get you far within the raids, PvP, and of course, in some cases, unlock other characters are going to be vital to maximizing your success within the game, and that's what we're going to focus on today. The characters that just kick butt in multitude of ways and you're never going to regret having, as again, this game is pretty stable as far as character development goes. We have a huge multitude of characters to talk about today, so go ahead. I invite you to sit back, relax, and let's jump into it. Again, these characters we go through today, we're going to be focusing on characters kind of around the level 50 mark. Sometimes there'll be a couple of cases, but most of them are up to about level 50. Most of them are a lot earlier than that, but I wanted to include that to have both beginner and mid-game characters alike. And we've got a lot of decisions that you can make, as there's a lot of different options and different pathways you can go down. Again, we're going to have this ultimate farming guide for you guys eventually, but I want to make this more choose your own adventure style, as a lot of these characters can be plugged in and you can make a lot of great teams with the choices that you have. Let's go ahead and kick off this list with somebody. If you would have said this a few months ago, you would be absolutely crazy. We've got Sulley. Guys, Sulley is a great decision of someone to go ahead and farm early within the game. You can get him extremely early, as one of his farmable nodes is right there at the beginning. It's one of the first couple of levels. Sulley's going to act as your anchor and your tank for your beginning journey and well into the mid game. Guys, I've got the choice to literally pick just about anyone and who I want to use for PvP and within the raids, and I still elect to use Sulley in most cases, guys. Absolutely amazing, great tank, very solid damage. And then the one thing I love about him is he's got some nice hero synergy with his basic attack that absolutely smacks and pairs well with some of the other characters we're going to talk about today. Sulley can be found in both the Club Exchange and, again, very early on in Grand Campaign as well. The next character that's just insatiable, very solid throughout your journey, guys, we talk about her a lot here on the channel, is going to be Belle. Now, you can get Belle a multitude of ways, and you can find her within 5F. She's one of the later characters in the video, more mid-game instead of more of the beginning game. But Belle is going to be great, especially when paired up with some other powerful characters. Now, what makes Belle amazing and who you want to look at with Belle is characters that have great basic attacks. We'll be highlighting them on today's video, but her basic calls other characters to use their basics. She has a passive that makes your team a lot faster, and then she's also used to get Beast, which is one of the best characters within the game. Combine that all together with the fact that she's a part of the Kingdom faction. Kingdom is definitely one of the factions that are one of the favorites to go after early within the game, as plenty of them are amazing, and you're going to feel way ahead of the competition that you're going up against with other early and mid-game players, as Kingdom extremely fast and you've got a lot of different choices. Now, we can't mention Belle without mentioning the damage queen, Merida, guys. She is virtually found everywhere within the beginning and mid-game. You can find her very early on in the Villains campaign, kind of in the mid-game around level 40. You can find her in the Grand campaign. Merida is so perfect to pair with Belle. They're both princesses. She's in the Wild faction. That's going to help you in the Towers of Endurance. But on top of that, guys, she helps you get Sorcerer Stones. And she's a character that doesn't need other characters, right? Like, her passive, she's all about a very hard-hitting basic attack, which is going to pair up with Belle very nicely. And then her two abilities are going to charge up with her passive. Now, every time she uses a basic, she gains these wisps, and you can use the wisps with the abilities. And she's kind of her own machine that's just capable of pumping out some crazy damage numbers. She's going to be really great for the long haul. Definitely one of those characters that you're never going to be mad that you invested gear into her. Let's keep the train rolling with powerful basic attacks. You guys knew very well that I could not get through this video without talking about my man, Genie. First of all, it's Genie. He's one of the favorites of many within Disney. But on top of that, he's actually very good within the game and a Swiss Army knife of a character. He does a little bit of everything. We made a full master guide on him. You can find that up above if you guys want to know more about what makes Genie great. But another character with a strong basic. He's going to pair well with Belle. He's got a silence, he can cleanse, and he can save people from death. Back when the game came out, Genie was kind of a tough choice as you could only get him in the elite farms, and the farming of Genie was so slow, but nowadays he's in the grand campaign. He's probably about to get a buff along with the other Aladdin characters, so keep your eyes out. If Aladdin gets a buff, they'll definitely make this list. I'll tell you the other ones aren't on this list. But Genie is very powerful, and you can get him at level 25 of a campaign mission. Very fast, very easy. Even just a base unlock, get this guy on your team. He's going to be useful right out the gate and just a great character. Now, talk about going 0 to hero. Frozone's story within DSA, if you're just now starting to play, he was terrible when the game first came out. Just got one of, if not the best refresh of a character that we have ever seen. He is the ultimate support character that's at the top of class for PvP, and he's great for the raids as well. Frozone is just an easy decision to go after. Now, Frozone is also located within the first grand campaigns very early on within the game, and he is that support character that's going to buff up your hardest hitter on your team. You want to make sure you've got a lot of attack, but Frozone's ice block is going to buff up your Meridas, buff up your Elsa, whoever you decide to have in that mid-game team. You're going to be carrying him way into late game, and your club is going to love you as he is vital within the raids. Very solid and easy pick here. Now, staying on the topic of ice cold, we've got the Frozen crew. Now, I'm going to kind of lump them all together. Elsa, we're going to have that farming guide come around, so subscribe if you haven't. That should be coming within the week or so. But Elsa is the first legendary that you should be going after in the very first beginning and mid-game within DSA, guys. All of these characters are going to be vital within your playthrough. 2 wilds for the towers. You got Olaf. He's going to be good for the raids and is a mythical character. However, more than likely, the 2 characters that you want to invest the most into would be Elsa and Anna. They're a great duo separate from one another. You're going to have Elsa with Frozone as one of the best teams in the game. But Anna is going to be great. She's a kingdom character, and she has great synergy with Belle and Genie and some of the other characters that we've already mentioned. So if you want to just kind of laser focus on one of them and kind of get more of these other characters, but still work towards a legendary, Anna is going to be the choice here. All right, so now we're going to shift gears and talk a little about events, but more about downtown villains. Now, the downtown villains are commonly known as DTV. Are going to be used to get you a lot of gold through the Scrooge Money Heist event. Now, there's a lot of choices to go after, and there's some great DTV characters. However, for the early and mid game, I think the best 2 to focus on is the new refreshed Randall Boggs. Really solid character. You're going to be using him throughout your entire journey. Great damage. He's kind of that selfish by himself character like Merida. He can heal himself. He can go stealth. He has good turn meter reduction to kind of stop the enemy's best damage dealers. And you can find him right here, which is very early within the game. And I definitely recommend going after Randall Boggs. And the best leader and the other great character, as you guys know, to get as a beginner or mid-game player would be Dr. Facilier. Now, we've known this. He's been this way since the game came out. Dr. Facilier is a very solid mid-game character because he helps you with all of the game modes. He's going to be your primary healer, even in the later games, but even early games, primary healer. His lead with Randall under it, you can probably surprise a lot of people with the damage output that you put out very early on. Great debuffs, all around solid character, and they're both going to help you get more gold, which means more character upgrades, which, yeah, does it make sense? Now, they aren't what they used to be, but I cannot obviously make this video without saying Hiro Hamada. I mean, he's still such an awesome plug-and-play character. His leadership is going to have him go lightning fast. And so there's 2 characters in the tech faction to focus on, one of which being Hiro and the other being a great controlling character. Now, Hiro Hamada, what I love about him is he can make other characters great. So let's say you're a big Genie fan, you can use Hiro Hamada to really upgrade Genie and make him a heck of a lot better. He provides you great evades and overall just a very consistent and well-balanced kit now that he's been majorly nerfed. He used to be the best character in the game, and he's still very solid and someone I would definitely recommend farming in your early and mid game. And if you go with this hero route, you have to go with Honey Lemon. Now, Honey Lemon is also available to farm very early within the game, and the thing I like about Honey Lemon is, I will say she falls off a little bit in PvP and within the raids, but just strictly talking that early mid game and up until like way later, like you can worry about more around like T7 in the gear level here, or gear tier 7. Guys, Honey Lemon is one of the best controlling units within the game. She has an AoE slow, she can stun your opponent, she can put out some powerful debuffs like Intimidate, which doesn't allow their kit to function well. She is going to be well above other characters that you can get at this level, and with the Hiro Hamada leadership, extremely fast. Honey Lemon isn't a bad option, and if you're big onto Big Hero 6, then it's definitely something you'd like to consider if you're all about speed. We have a super powerful duo up next in Esmeralda and Quasimodo. Now, both of them are a little bit later in the 40s to 50 range, but as you guys should know, Esmeralda, you're just at a disadvantage if you don't go after her. She's in virtually every Summoner Showdown, a great game mode to kind of see how late game players are going to play the game. But Esmeralda will be vital in every single game mode and is probably a top 3 pick of mine to recommend in the mid-game area. Now, with her, you got to go with Quasimodo as well. Very strong tank that kind of acts like a Baymax, who's a legendary with constant distraction and good, easy to follow synergy between the two. And then if you farm both of them, you can go ahead and access tokens to get Belle and some other characters with those currencies. And then, of course, Claude Frollo, who's just another kind of just cherry on top for farming the other two. So I was telling you guys how Kingdom is just so versatile and there's so many options to pick from, and we're not going to talk about the legendary packs on this video, but definitely if you're considering that, I would go the Beast route with those packs. However, the 2 Kingdom characters I recommend farming is Shan Yu, which Shan Yu you can find in the Sorcerer tournament. You don't have to put a lot into him, just unlock him, get his crazy powerful speed leadership. He's going to kind of speed up the rest of the Kingdom faction. And then you want to go and put a ton of gear into Namaari. Still blows my mind that Namaari is available in the Sorcerer's tournament. Namaari is the assassin of DSA and is a great character, and she's never going to be bad. She's just solid. Her passive assassinates characters at low health and is kind of, again, the high offense character for your team if you go down the Kingdom route, or if you don't, very solid villain to help you get through the villain campaign as well. Namaari is a no-brainer. The only con is you have to get her in the Sorcerer Tournament exchange, and, well, it's not a ton of tokens for how much you're spending, and you could be putting that on other characters, but if you're all in for Kingdom, you gotta get Namaari. All right, Cozy Club, so we have a couple characters left. Again, we've talked about this on stream multiple times on Twitch. However, I want to just kind of point out a couple other characters that are about level 50 and beyond. More probably mid to in-game. However, level 50 is not a huge milestone to access. The characters that we're bringing up next is going to be none other than Miss Moana. This is obviously the best Oceanic. You can find her on level 55, but as soon as you get access to farm her, start farming Moana. We've talked about this. She's a princess. She's a great Oceanic, and overall, just a solid character that is going to carry you through most of your journey. Now, the other character, like Moana, very solid, and it's kind of crazy. He's farmable pretty early on. It is the lightning fast Dash, guys. Dash is such a cheat code, and he's probably going to be insane when going up against kind of equal footing characters or people that started at the same time as you. Dash is so good to help catch you guys up. They had to come up with mechanics to nerf the guy. I mean, he's that powerful. Dash can be found around level 50, so not too far within the game. Dash highly recommended and a lot of fun to play with. Now, Cozy Club, those would be the main ones that I would focus on if you're kind of going more towards legendaries like Hercules, Pain and Panic, and Hades. Those are great characters as well, and you can even get Miguel and go the mythical route. However, the ones that we pointed out today are going to be great to spread your roster out. Some are going to help you unlock characters, some are going to help you access events, and most importantly, most of these characters are going to be awesome throughout the entire time that you play this game. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed a couple back-to-back videos helping the early and mid-game players. And if you guys like to see more of these, we can definitely keep this series up. My friends, out of all the characters that we've listed today, who is going to be the ones that you target as a early or mid-game player, or even in the late game? Who do you not have that we've mentioned on today's list? My friends, have a great rest of your day, and until next time, stay cozy.